Hi everyone, welcome. I've been in sort of a hunting through my library phase for some fairy tale decks because I saw another fairy tale deck on Amazon and I'm wondering if I need it or not. Now, what you're seeing here is a deck that I made about 10 years ago from books in a thrift store and attached them to some jumbo sized cards. And it was fun to do. When I show you the minors, you're going to see the differences there. But it's all because of what I said I saw on Amazon, and let me show you. Hang tight. Okay, so this is from the publisher, and it's connected to a book coming out, or a tarot deck and book coming out called The Cottage Magic Tarot by Ann Shen. And I think it comes out January 20th, 26. And I watched some of Anne in an interview, and she was really quite taken by the artwork growing up and looking at Mary Blair, who did an awful lot of artwork for Disney, and it appeared in books and all kinds of things. So she's an author and illustrator, and it says, weave your own fairy tale through sun-dappled cottages, moss-covered castles with this enchanting tarot deck. And there, I'll bring that up. You can see one of the cards and the book open there. And then this brings in some of the images. Now, it looks like this might be it's 5 of children, which is interesting. So there would be your lover's card. And this is the 6. It looks like coins there. And this is cups. So this must be wands over here, the energy of the children. So it's going to be named a little bit different. But let's take a walk through my handmade tarot deck. And I'll just see if I get a vibe whether I need this or not. And if you've pre-ordered this, let me know. And what your expectations are, what you found out, things like that. Okay, so we're back to my deck, and as I say, I just used glue stick and stuck it on these jumbo-sized cards, and most of children's books have rather large images, what I was finding then anyway. So it just meant that I had to have a larger backing for it. It has a nice little rose spattering through the background, but the camera is not picking that up. So that is my Fool, Pinocchio. Now, this is my Magician. I thought she had a nice little flair to her there. And then we go into the High Priestess. And she looks like she's doing her own little magic as well. It's all at her hands. And the energy around her was fantastic. So there is my Empress. Loving, caring, nurturing. So the idea was to go through the book and find images that, for instance, this one said the Empress to me, what I take from the meaning of the Empress card. It doesn't have to be nurturing children, no, but it is a children's fairy tale, so that sort of lent itself. Here's my Emperor, and this would be from a different book entirely. But he had that look, very regal. And then he goes this way. That was the challenge. I couldn't always get images to go vertical, so I had to be a little bit creative and let it go. But, you know, there's Alice receiving from the Cheshire Cat the information forward. There's my lovers. Love that Camelot feel. This one goes this direction as well. So there is the Chariot. Okay, then we're on to Strength. Pinocchio working through some of his issues that he finds himself in. And this one was the Hermit for me because Absalom from Alice in Wonderland, and I do think that's my favorite fairy tale, lend its energy here. Then we're on to the Wheel, which was in my grandma's house, so this fit nicely. And there we have Alice again, Justice, standing in that box, stating her case. This one was fun. And if you're noticing a little arrow once in a while, because some of them do tip and such, it was a way for me to know which was the upright. And I just used a little silver pen here to put the numbers on. And some of the images in the kids' book I didn't realize till I went through it, can be a little bit scary for kids, but they fit with my ideas for the tarot deck perfectly. There's my death card. A couple of the dwarves hanging out by her. Now this one is Temperance. You know how she goes from bed to bed, trying to find just the right comfort. Okay, 15. Now, in the story that I remember, I think a bunch of roadies capture him and put him to work. So that is my Devil card. 16 is the Tower. And 17 is the Star. The energy of Puss in Boots leading this person on and all the antics that he gets up to. The Moon in her restful slumber. And the Sun. I just love the idea of the happiness of this child. And we often get a child in the Sun card. So why not? 20, that's Judgment, but for me also bringing the two sides in, that balance, what's fair, and that time ticks and time changes everything and works its way through issues. So it just went for me. You got to have a playful attitude if you're working with fairy tales. And there is my World card. Looks like he's happy and made it. Now you're going to see some differences when we get into the minors, but it's fun. So I'll put these ones aside, and they can certainly not be shuffled or rifle shuffled, but just that overhand meditative walk through the cards and pick the one if you wish. Now we're going to go on to the Wands, and this is where it gets a little bit different, because this is my Ace and this is my 2. And the idea is, if you were doing a reading, you might look at the card that butts this one. So you've got the Fool next to the Ace and reading it that way. Or how does this card influence this? And taking in the reversals. But the idea is too that maybe when I shuffle, it comes up this way. So this is actually the more positive influence than this one. So, it's just getting images and enough images to make a deck is tricky. So this was a solution, is to divide the card, and it worked. All right, so then we're on to our 3 of Wands over here and the 4 of Wands here. But again, it could very well come up this way. So if you were not a person who read reversals, you would just, take it however you like, but sometimes happiness is hard to attain. So if it is reversed and establishing yourself can be difficult, it's not saying that the 4 of Wands can't always be celebration, but there's things to be done in order for it to come, I guess. I use the word fruition too many times, but anyway, that was that one. And we'll continue. So here we have our 5 of Wands. You can see the struggle going on. And this would be the 6. So this way, not quite the celebration. And sometimes when I read cards and I get a reversal, I do step back one card and think of what that one card was and how it could be influencing the situation. So here's my 7 of Wands, the struggle, facing all these issues and burdens, and my 8. climbing the ladder. And then we have our 9 and our 10. Our princess. I went for princesses. I must have been looking through some Thoth type decks when I created this. And then this one is the knight. But I do like the playful energy. The queen and the king together. All right, now these are the swords. So my ace and my 2. A decision needing to be made, a compromise possibly. And our 3 of swords. I mean, the sadness and the tear and the rose, love gone wrong maybe, right? And the 4. So, that's where it gets tricky to find another one for the 4 of swords where she's at rest maybe and thinking through things. And some of these words could actually be taken in as well. The 5 of swords. And the 6. The 7. Sneaky Pete card for me. And the fear with the 8 of swords. The 9 and the big bad wolf for the 10. And the idea of all these teeth could represent the swords. The bite, the pain. Okay. Now this guy here, what was he? So that would be the 10. Let me just pause for a sec. It's been a while since Okay, brain dead. Remember, 10 of swords is the wolf, so we're on to the page and the knight. And this is where it gets interesting because obviously I put it on the wrong side sometimes, but you can't peel it off, so you got to go with it. So our page and our knight, our queen, and our king. Okay, so now we're into cups. There's Alice having a wonderful cup of tea for the ace. And there is like steam coming out of the cup here. And I liked how these words along the top make any sense with whatever she's pondering as she's having her cup of tea. And the 2 of cups. I mean, you got to trust that he's going to support you. All right, 3 and 4. And he does look so sad there. 5. And the 6. You really got to use your imagination. And that's how I learned tarot. Digging through books, finding images that would work. The 8 of cups, what path is she going to take forward? And time is ticking. And the 9, getting ready maybe for a celebration. Yes, happy unbirthday. And the 10 of hearts, all snug in their bed. So again, our princess. Now here, excuse me, this should have been, I guess, a different card, but it ended up as the king, and there was no peeling it back. And this one is the knight, and this one is the princess. So the last one, the coins, the ace over here, and the 2. Like how much lying can he do and still keep his world in balance? That's what I'm trying to say. And choosing his words carefully, along with his actions. So there is our 3 and the Four of Coins. So, you know, that feeling of mind, greed, trying to keep things for yourself, hoarding. R5. And the 6. I hope I can do a little reading at the end if I've got enough time here. So this is the 9 of Coins. And the 10. And all those words that you could play off there, like the Water King. Again, our Princess. The Knight. The Queen on this side instead of this way. The Queen and the King. So that is a deck that was made, as I say, a long time ago. But let's do a little reading. Let's just pause for a second, get this together. So I'm going to put it out there that, you know, this deck that I'm sort of lusting after, do I really need it? And this is the one called the Cottage Magic. So these ones are my majors. And I'm going to put that at the heart of the matter. And normally I would shuffle these a lot better. This one's falling out, so I'm going to take it. That's going to go at the heart. Okay. And then we'll pick 2 cards from this. But give me a moment to shuffle, okay? Because that's a big stack. Okay, so I've just sort of been asking, do I need to add this Cottage Magic deck into my collection? And knowing that there are some divided cards all the way through, just turning it. I would do this in my own tarot readings anyway, so, because I do read reversals. So, do I need the Cottage Magic Tarot? Maybe looking at the benefit or not. So we're going to put this one here and this one here. And I'll tip this down so that you can see them. So you know a 3-card reading takes up a lot of space when you're using jumbo cards. So the heart of the matter. Do I need this Cottage Magic Tarot in my collection? Oh, well, you're going to have to think about it. That is card 18, the Moon. It has its pros and cons, and it does sort of, you know, with the Moon, I think that illumination. So study, I guess, some more images from the deck, sit with it for a bit, and see. But we'll look at these other 2 cards here. You know, and the Moon, I'm dreaming about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm lusting after it. And with the rose here, definitely, there is a love for it. Oh, and then I also do weird things in that, you know, I take the 10 and I think, well, it might be transformative. And with the 8 there, it is definitely on my mind. 8s for me are matters of the mind. So we'll put that one back down there. All right. And this one, for good or bad. So let me just pull this back for a second. Yeah, these are the swords. So the Queen of Swords is sitting right next to me here, and she's upside down. So it tells me that, you know, the Queen is usually very truthful and very blunt. And just the look on that King over there, you know, what are you thinking? Do you really need this? Is it going to add towards your readings for other people? This seems to be against it for me. I would say no, especially with the Queen of Swords upside down. That, you know, sometimes when you see these decks, the publishers have a way of wording things that entice you, but do you really need it? Okay, and this one here, the King of Wands. And to me, he's very creative. He's very powerful. And he also loves to put on a show. So the deck would be nice maybe to have in my collection and look at, but I don't think I would probably use it as much as I think I might. So that's just a little reading there, and I haven't played with this deck for long, and I intend to bring it back out. It's been sitting like her, dormant, but it was the thought of this deck that brought this deck then to mind. So, things coincidentally happen, and I guess I'm not going to jump on that cottage one right away. I'm going to play with this because this is the one that has called me. It's now out of its box, and I do have a cute box. Hang on. They all fit in this tin, because they're so big. This just seemed like a perfect fit. So that is its home. So I'm going to wish everyone a happy day. And, just because there's something new and exciting on the horizon doesn't mean it's right for you, but maybe it is. So let me know. Are you going to jump? Are you going to take that challenge or that spur and fill your shelf with another deck? And is this the one that's going to maybe answer everything for you? I always look at that, the next deck, maybe that's going to be one that answers all the questions in the right way for me. No, it's us sitting and pondering and letting the answers come, right? Anyway, these are just my feelings, my ideas around the deck. I do love it. I know I do. But maybe one day it'll come in a different manner, or it won't be $34. Let's just wait and see.